Hey, it's Devin. Just a heads up, you may have guessed from the title, but we're going to be dealing with some tough stuff in this episode, so if you want to skip this one, we totally understand.
I'm Manny.
I'm Noah.
And this is Devin. And this is No Such Thing, the show where we settle our dumb arguments and yours by actually doing the research. On today's episode, we go deep inside the world of pedophile hunters.
There's no such thing. No such thing. No such thing. No such thing. No such thing.
Growing up, did y'all watch the show To Catch a Predator?
Yeah, did I watch it? I mean, that was one of my favorite shows.
Yeah, I was locked in.
I was pretty locked in.
They're online, they're at the door, and tonight they're on this very beach in our latest To Catch a Predator investigation. Good evening.
For those of you who don't know, To Catch a Predator was a show on NBC that ran in the mid-2000s. It was hosted by this guy named Chris Hansen, and he would work with these teams that would pretend to be children online chatting with adults. They would invite these guys over to their quote-unquote house, which would be outfitted with hidden cameras.
Got someone in the driveway. Someone in the driveway.
The team inside Dateline's hidden camera house quickly moves into position.
They would have an actor pretending to be a child telling the guys that, oh, come on in, and then they would make some excuse to go in the back.
Hey, come on in. I made you some sweet tea. Well, I just gotta throw this in the dryer real quick or everything's gonna get wrinkled.
And then Chris Hansen would come out and confront these guys who thought they were there to have sex with a child.
I need to tell you that I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC, and we're doing a story on adults who meet teens online and then try to meet them in person for sex.
And you remember his famous catchphrase?
Hello, have a seat.
Yes.
Why don't you have a seat over here?
Yes.
Why don't you have a seat there and get comfortable for that? Why don't you come on in and have a seat real quick?
Okay.
It's going to take a few minutes, so why don't you have a seat?
That line is so, yeah, I think you're a piece of shit.
Yes.
Like, why don't you have a seat over here?
And now you're it's the ultimate, you were doing some bullshit and now you're caught.
Yeah.
What were your experiences like as kids watching this show? Did you think it was funny? What was sort of the vibe?
Look, I'm a much different man today than I was when I was 12. But I was definitely watching To Catch a Predator, in a gleeful sense. In a way that's these guys are bad.
Yep.
They're catching them. I'm allowed to laugh and have a good time with this
because they're bad people.
Sure.
The cause is good overall.
Yep.
I don't think I would, consume that material the same way today, obviously, but that's what I was doing.
Do either of you know why the show ended?
I've heard, and I still don't even know if it's true. I heard it was because I think a guy was caught and then killed himself, right there. But I don't know if that's even true.
So I looked into this, and there's some conflicting reporting around it, but it seems like this may have been a contributing factor to why To Catch a Predator did get canceled. So in 2006, the assistant district attorney in Texas, Bill Conrad, was caught in a sting operation by Chris Hansen and a Dateline NBC crew.
The officers line up in formation and head to the back of the house.
And I actually have footage of this, and in that footage, you can hear a gunshot.
Then we hear a faint crack. The officers force their way in. For almost 5 minutes, we don't see or hear anything. Then Lieutenant Adana Barber of the Murphy Police Department comes out and tells us what happened.
And he told them he wasn't going to hurt them, and then shot himself in the head.
And he had a pistol in his hand.
Small caliber.
So Bill died by suicide. His family ended up suing NBC. They settled outside of court, but it really forced people to have a conversation about, is this really the best and most ethical way to be going about this? For the record, Chris Hansen says this is not the reason the show ended. He said it just kind of ran its course, but he's still making a version of To Catch a Predator today.
Coming up on Takedown with Chris Hansen.
He's engaging in our other ad.
Wow.
So, did it run its course, sir?
Yeah.
You're still doing it.
Yeah. He's contradicting himself by continuing
we found some more
product.
Exactly. So the reason we're talking about To Catch a Predator is not just because pedophiles are in the news again with the Epstein stuff, but we've been seeing a lot more videos, I would say, primarily on X, of these like streamers, or, you know, I guess we can call them influencers, doing something that's being called pedophile hunting. Which is similar to the Chris Hansen show, To Catch a Predator.
He's hitting me, a 13-year-old girl. Hey, give us space. I got him.
So the biggest difference with these streamers versus like The Catch a Predator is a lot of these streamers are getting really violent with these alleged pedophiles.
You, I'm a bitch. I'm a bitch. You, am I a bitch? Are you gonna hit me if I pass out or something?
And obviously the reason that they're doing this is they feel like they can get away with it, because if you're being caught being an alleged pedophile, you're probably not going to call the police. So yeah, we've been sharing these videos for a while now. I look back at our chats over a year ago, even before the pod launched.
Wow.
We've been talking about it, sharing it in the Slacks, mostly about how we feel uncomfortable with what we're seeing. But yeah, what has your experiences been seeing?
Yeah, I mean, these seem like something that definitely popped up in the X era of Twitter, where it's like, once it was kind of like the feed is just going to be whatever is put out there.
Yeah.
And like all this stuff kind of rises. So I would just see this way more than ever before. Definitely, like, I'm sure these were kind of happening earlier, but they kind of blew up, it felt like, or at least came into my purview. The whole thing feels a lot more just like bullying, and maybe because like, you know, and I'm only seeing clips, so I don't know, maybe there's a lot more backstory given, but like, the whole thing is like even more miserable than the edited TV version back in the day.
Yeah.
It's like, again, it's like, yeah, you're kind of, once it is in front of you, you are fixated to see it and like hear what's going on, but it's just even like 10 times sadder than the old version.
And it really made me think, like, when these videos started becoming really popular, it made me think about the quote unquote like content aspect of this.
Yeah.
The entertainment value of it. You know, makes me think about To Catch a Predator, the TV show, where it's like, okay, this is bullying, right? Like, this is like they're parading the person out for our entertainment value.
And then, yeah, it's like the new version where it's like, you don't even have like the small amount of due diligence that might be happening from, okay, we recorded this thing, now let's see, like, is this person actually guilty, or let the police sort it out, or whatever. Like, the incentives are even more extreme, you know?
Yeah, and they I think what propels them to keep doing this is this idea that I had when I was 12, which was, it's okay for me to laugh at this because ultimately they're being a deterrent, but like, I wonder how much of it is actually a deterrent.
Yeah, to Manny's point, like, watching these, the big thing that's on my mind is like, is this actually deterring any of these potential predators from doing this in the future? Like, are predators watching this being like, oh, I can't talk to kids on Grindr because like it may be dads against predators or something, you know, coming after me? And then I guess another aspect of it that just, you know, I felt it with To Catch a Predator, but feel it even more with these streamers, is like the seriousness of the crimes feels kind of like an afterthought, and a lot of the sort of entertainment value is just like, oh, look at this idiot getting beat up, right? I haven't watched a lot of these videos. Like, I see them on Twitter, and yeah, they're kind of hard to turn away when you're watching these like 30-second or minute-long clips, but I haven't watched the full-on, you know, Predator stream.
You don't seek
so
them out.
Maybe they're getting deeper, you know, maybe they're doing all this stuff I just complained about is maybe happening on the long version.
Yeah, right? You're like, you know, someone who just reads the headline and complains.
Exactly. I don't
idea the real journalism they're doing.
Exactly. I don't really know this world. So I am going to talk to someone who knows a lot about this world. I am going to chat with a reporter who has watched hundreds of these pedophile hunting videos. That is after the break. Okay, we're back. This is No Such Thing. So as I mentioned before the break, this is a topic that we've been talking and thinking about a lot, even before we launched the podcast.
Wow.
And you know that meme that's like, you know, I've been working on this for however long, and then like you just tweeted it out. This is what happened with the New York Times.
Yeah.
As we were talking about this, they published a story, which was exactly what we were discussing, which is like doing a deep dive on these online pedophile hunters. So the Times did a visual investigation titled "Online Pedophile Hunters Are Growing More Violent and Going Viral." So I talked to one of the reporters from that team, Aric Toler, who's been watching hundreds of these videos.
I'm very fascinated by just weird internet subgenres and subcultures, and this is one of the weirdest ones out there.
Aric, similar to us, grew up watching To Catch a Predator and seeing a lot of these videos on his Twitter feed.
So you see all these, photos of these guys getting, beat up, being chased, and drop kicked and thrown to the trash. And,
But there was one case in particular that really caught his attention.
This one guy in particular called himself Real Jujika, and Jujika is the name of some manga about this revenge. It's like revenge killing is the idea of this manga. It's like this kid who goes on revenge and kills all these people. It's like this righteous defender or whatever.
So the manga is called Jujika no Rokunin, and so many of the reviews online on Reddit and YouTube are about just how fucked up this series is.
The most dangerous character of them all is our main villain, because this kid is really fucked up. Like, he sits there and he's talking about how he's going to be the first killer that is going to kill without no desire, with loving family and friends, because he wants to be an ultimate killer.
There's this kid, you can tell he's probably in his early 20s, maybe 18, 19, something like that. He had a video where he tied this old man up, he tied up his wrists and then beat him with a hammer until he was bloody, right? And posted this video on Instagram, on Telegram, whatever.
All right, let me show you guys this video. But first, I want to pull up this tweet, which will, I guess, give you some insight into his thinking. So, along with this video of him beating up this 73-year-old, this is the caption. It says, "Pedos walk away because they can hide it with money or power. It doesn't matter to me anymore. When my friend got pedo attacked, no one was there, so don't ever question what I do. My hatred will never be filled. Unfiltered love." All right. So here's the video of him attacking the 73-year-old man with a hammer in his house.
Oh my God. Wow.
It's just like music.
Whoa.
This video is pretty graphic, but you see a masked man holding a hammer, posing around an elderly man whose face is bloodied. His hands are tied. There are scenes intercut of him hitting the man, and you could see him screaming and yelling for help.
And about a month or so after I first saw this video, we got word that he was arrested in Pennsylvania. It turned out it was at the time, 19 or 20-year-old from kind of a well-to-do family outside of Philly who's doing this. And it was real. I mean, everything was real. The guy who was beat up, he was in hospice care soon after because he had cancer. And there was other people too. He had done this to a few other people as well too. So that's how we got into it in the first place. Is this especially violent, kind of crazy example, which, even I've seen hundreds and hundreds of these videos. That's still the most insane of all the ones I've seen was that first one I saw.
That really is hard to watch.
Yeah.
And even that's kind of cutting around probably the worst, most violent bits, but it's just like
I said, there are
extremely disturbing to see.
It makes me think about how sometimes when you're watching this, you don't feel like the person would be doing this if it weren't for views and clicks. Yeah. They know it's a form of entertainment that they can get people to watch, and it's not but then you see a guy like this who's got a fucking origin story doing this, and you do wonder maybe it's not all just for the entertainment value.
Not just performative, and that's pure just I want views, how do I get views?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
All right, so this, I think he's 19-year-old, has a trial date later this week. He's being charged with everything from kidnapping to burglary to making terroristic threats. And obviously this is a pretty extreme example of what these streamers do. When I was curious, talking to Aric, what does a more typical video tend to look like?
It depends on who's doing the catching, right? So I'll give you an example of like Dads Against Predators, which is probably the most prolific group. They've done probably over 500 or 600 of these catches since like 2019, so over about 5-6 years. There's a guy named Jay and a guy named Josh. They're two guys from Ohio. The idea is like they are, grown men trying to bring justice to the world by, I think Jay or Josh, one of them is like, we're exposing demons is how they do it, right? And they talk about how they brag often about how many suicides they've caused. People who've been in their videos who have committed suicide shortly after the videos.
I've almost killed myself. I don't care. Hey, I don't care. You came to meet a little boy, a 13-year-old boy. You think I give a fuck about you? I don't give a fuck about you. I don't care. Do what you want.
I think the exact quote is like, we can't arrest, the body's not arrest. It's kind of how they brag. They see themselves like on a holy crusade, right? And it'll be them. Sometimes they have like an entourage of people with them. They'll like be sitting in a car and they're about to meet up with a guy. So they go onto apps like Grindr or Tinder or Facebook or a bunch of specialized things. And they'll like pose they'll like put their age as 18 because that's the lowest you can put your age. And then after they talk to a guy for a while, they'll say, oh, I'm actually 13. I'm actually 14. Do you still want to meet up? And then this is how they describe it. And usually they post a chat log so you can actually see this. And then if a guy says, okay, yeah, let's still meet up, they'll do it in a public place. Sometimes they rent like Airbnb, so like a trap house. Usually it's like a Dollar General or a Walmart or a grocery store or whatever, right? And then they're still in the car and like, okay, this is him. I see the guy. He's going in. Let's go.
There you go. Okay, just pull it up. He said I'm here. Right there. Right there in the Lexus.
And they're like kind of like spies, right? And they go and they confront the guy like in a chip aisle in Walmart, and they say, "Hey, you expecting to see a 14-year-old? It's actually me, right?"
Hey, I need to know why you're here to meet a 13-year-old boy, Kay. What? Kay.
I'm not Kay.
Okay, hey, Mom, hey, sir, I might have it messed up. Is this you right here? Hey, don't grab my phone. You're gonna get stuck, boy.
And then the guys will almost always say like, "Oh, I just wanted to like give them advice and tell them this was a bad idea." They all have excuses.
I fucking was coming to me with something to talk to him about how he shouldn't be on Grindr. Oh, you know why? You ask him, have you ever been fucked before? Because when I was 15 and 16 on Grindr, I was taking advantage of every single fucking day. So you want to do it again? No, I was coming to meet the kid. Why did you say? I was coming to meet the kid. Why did you say, have you ever been fucked before? Because I was fucked when I was 15. So why are you asking him that? Because I want to make him fucking understand that he shouldn't fucking do that.
It'll diverge. Sometimes they just try to humiliate them publicly. Like their catchphrase is they yell like, "Excuse me, everyone, this guy is a pedophile," blah, 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 and like scream and try to embarrass them as they run away.
Tyler is here to meet a 14-year-old girl. Excuse me, everyone. Tyler is here to meet a 14-year-old girl.
Sometimes they just like beat the shit out of them. They'll just attack them and like kick them and slap them and punch them, or maybe they'll chase them through the parking lot and then like beat them down.
Please. I don't want no. Oh my God! Come on! Ow! Stop! You ain't even crying yet, Predator. Please stop! Ow! Stop! You ain't crying. Stop! No kicks. Stop! You ain't crying yet. Please stop.
And then the video ends, right? So usually the videos are 20-30 minutes each. Sometimes they're a lot longer. Sometimes they do like live catches. They're kind of like the lead up to it and like afterwards and all that stuff. But usually that's what a video looks like. Is sometimes there's violence, sometimes there's not. It depends on the group. Some groups are violent, some aren't.
I've seen situations where they've said like, "Hey, we know you're a pedophile. You can either let us beat you up, or we're going to call the cops."
Yeah. They do that sometimes too.
And there's situations obviously when they do both.
Yeah, of course it works. I mean, this is the thing. Like, there's hundreds and hundreds of these. They don't do the exact same playbook every time, right? So this is something that Josh, one of the two Dads Against Predator guy, does. Is he'll say like, okay, you have an option. You get the slaps or you get the police, right? And the guys, not every time, but like 90% of the time, they ask for the slaps. Like, don't call the cops or whatever.
Oh, that boy's seizing up.
Hey, yeah. Now who you here to meet? Who you here to meet?
You gonna get it, Goldilocks?
Or you can call the cops. And we can figure it all out together.
Hey, tell us who you got.
And then I'll go to jail for smacking you. I'll bond out. It's only gonna be like $150, and then you'll go to jail, mister, for what you've been doing.
There are some streamers on Kick, and the one that we talk about most in our reporting in our article a while ago was Vitaly Zdravetsky, who was a relatively popular Kick streamer. I think he's like top 20, top 10. I don't know exactly. He's Vitaly streamer. Read his Wikipedia. It's wild. He's like streaked like on like World Cup.
Vitaly ZDTV just ran on the field.
He has a whole weird history of like attacking a woman when he was like a jogger. He's like attacked a woman. He's like on drugs.
He just came out and throttled her for no reason. He just came out and just whacked her in the face. Okay, this guy has got this website, Vitaly Uncensored. He's had some issues before. He's the big muscle-bound kid inside. I don't know if he's roided up. I don't know if he's raged up. I don't know if he's coked up. But he just cold-cocked her, man.
It's a whole weird life. But his kind of new arc that he had was he would do these pedophile catches on Kick. What Vitaly does is he does like a game show, is what he calls. So like the first few streams, he just like attack people, right? And I'm pretty sure he got a stern talking to because he mentions a few times that like, oh yeah, Kick told me I can't be violent or whatever. He would have the alleged predator and like an Airbnb or whatever that he rented out and say, okay, we can either call the cops or you could do our game show. And it's like 5 rounds of like humiliating them. So the first round may be like, here's like a super duper hot chip.
It's your life, your choice. I usually give people 60 seconds to decide. It's a fucking chip. You're not gonna die. It's spicy. You eat or cops. Eat or cops. Eat.
Okay. I do.
Thank you.
And the second round might be like, oh, we're going to shave your eyebrows. Right? And the third round might be like, you have to call your mom or you call your wife and tell them what you did.
So, and he's here and we caught him. What do you think I should do to him? Or what do you think, you have anything to say to your son right now that he came here for hours?
Hold on. Hold on, let you talk to your mom, my husband. Hold on.
The fourth round may be like, we have a swimming pool with like a plank over it, or like a board that goes over with a bunch of mouse traps. You have to walk across it barefoot, right? So like they have like a series, like escalating, like more painful, more humiliating things. And then at the end of it, they leave and, they may or may not call the cops. And some people, just like they are told, oh, this is a game show, we're gonna whatever, and they just get up and leave immediately and then nothing happens, right? They got another person coming in soon, right? So they don't want the cops to show up and break up their next catch. But yeah, I mean, it depends. Vitaly has done 40, 50, 60 of these, so it changes, stream to stream.
So believe it or not, we have actually talked about and seen some of these Vitaly videos. There's 2 that he has with these, to us, famous musicians. The first one I'm going to play features Ty Dolla $ign.
Oh yeah,
the hip hop musician. Noah was day one Ty Dolla.
Yeah.
Free TC.
Great album. What's up?
Trying to meet the 15-year-old? You want to meet the 15-year-old? You want some 15-year-old?
Why you want to meet a 15-year-old fucking boy for sex, bro?
No.
Are you a fucking pedophile or what?
No.
No one's gonna hurt you. What's up, bro?
I'm a good person.
Huh?
I'm a good person.
You're a good person?
Boy. Yeah.
You're going to jail,
boy.
Could you imagine, you're getting confronted on camera for your, online activities, whatever they are, and Ty Dolla $ign shows up to rub it in? That'd be crazy.
I just don't know what he gets out of it.
And then there's this other video which features, everyone knows who Akon is.
Oh, sure.
Akon singing his hit single, Locked Up, while an alleged pedophile is being arrested on camera. And then the weird thing is Vitaly's wearing some like Native American headdress. I don't really know how that ties into what's happening here.
And it just goes to show you how so many people, including celebrities, feel like this is a noble endeavor, and they're just happy to appear in these videos because they feel like it makes them look good. It's like good PR for them.
In his investigation, Aric found that there have been more than 170 violent attacks by pedophile hunters since 2023. How did you go about tracking down all these videos, right? Because you guys break down just how many violent attacks that you've seen across all these platforms. How did you go about that? Quantifying it?
I mean, it was just endless data collection, right? I just had the spreadsheet. I still have it. It's just with hundreds of rows on Google Sheets of just listing every single group I could find, right? This is the thing that's kind of frustrating about this, is these groups kind of come and go. Because they aren't, I mean, there will be a group that does 2 or 3 catches and they kind of go away. Some that were around forever, but they're on Facebook, and Facebook deleted them because a lot of these social platforms have cracked down. and you can't find any traces of it. And so I just went through, and I literally just went through Facebook and through Twitter and through Rumble and Kick and all these places. I just gathered as many as I could. The way these go is a lot of times they are very locally driven. So it's like there'll be a lot of, especially on Facebook, it'll be like the area code. So if it's like New York, like the 212, predator catchers, right? Those are the ones that are kind of hard to find because they're like very hyper local. But then you have the big groups, like Dads Against Predators and predator poachers that are national, and they travel and they make thousands of dollars and all that.
Wow. So you mentioned some of the platforms, but can you talk me through like where you're seeing most of this stuff live?
When it used to be back 5+ years ago, everything was on Facebook. All these people were on Facebook / YouTube. It's kind of like the dual places because those are the biggest platforms that people were. Yeah. And YouTube for a long time, YouTube and Facebook just let these people live. And there's like some light moderation, but there wasn't that much, right? So you see groups with tens of thousands of members, local, national, whatever, who post full videos. They would do Facebook live streams, doing their live catches. This still happens, though not as much as it used to. And they would go on YouTube, and they would be able to monetize and make some pretty decent money monetizing their videos on YouTube, which is why many of them were there. Around 2022, YouTube had a pretty big sweep, and they had a kind of crackdown on this.
Our next witness is Neil Mohan, Chief Product Officer at YouTube.
I want to make clear that there's no place on YouTube for violent extremist content.
And many of the people that were around in 2022, they were either demonetized or banned off the platform entirely. Some people came back, right? You find ways to dodge the ban and kind of slip under the radar. Other people just stop doing it altogether because once the money's gone, it's not worth doing. Or they moved to other platforms. And many have moved to Twitter now, because especially after Elon took over, they can do whatever they want. There are some exceptions, but there's much less moderation than when Jack Dorsey was in charge. And the other place that's absorbed many of them is Locals, which is a kind of a right-wing Patreon, like free speech, no censorship, whatever, right? You can subscribe to somebody for $10 a month or whatever on Locals. And we know from talking to a lot of these people that Locals, they see this pedophile hunting thing as like a growth strategy, is how we came with from our reporting. Is they help them grow their brand, grow their videos, grow their audience, because of course, the more subscribers they get, the more fees Locals collects and the bigger the platform gets.
I'm sorry, Locals sounds like an obscure dating app. That's like kink forward.
Yeah, like when you get those pop-ups, it's like Joey is in your area,
yeah.
30 minutes away. Who's the audience for this?
Yeah, it depends. So for Vitaly, he is streaming on Kick. So his audience is a bunch of young men. Just imagine an average person watching a video game streamer, like an Aiden Ross or whatever, right? So it's usually, again, I don't have like the demo information, but in my head, I imagine like a teenage boy or like a guy in his young 20s. To me, that's like his audience. Dads Against Predators is a little different. Their audience is a bit more diverse in that, like, I see like who's commenting on this stuff. It is definitely majority male, but like they get more girls in there. They get older guys, guys in their 30s and 40s of, cheering them on, all that stuff. You get some younger guys too, but their audience seem to be a little bit older. A lot of the people who do this stuff are explicitly right-wing. They, hashtag Save the Children, QAnon, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But not everyone. Like I've talked to a few kind of left-wing Democrat, neutral / apolitical, or even like, I talked to a guy like in like the New York area who's like seems like he's pretty left-wing and does this stuff. He sees this as like an apolitical, like I'm stopping child predators and that sort of stuff, right? So it's not, you definitely get more right-wing sentiment out of this stuff than you do left-wing, but I don't think it's exclusively a right-wing conspiracy nut thing, because often I talk to these people and they're apolitical.
I'm always interested in like the political breakdown of a given group, but it kind of tracks that this would be, kind of all over the place politically.
And it's interesting now that this is coming up, because we are seeing the left kind of hijack the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, right? The Democrats tweeted from their official account. It's the Republican, elephant, and it says pedophile protectors on it, right? So it's like they're really trying to take the Epstein list stuff and like trying to mobilize that base to come vote for them. And now we have these two parties being like, you like pedophiles. No, you like pedophiles.
Yeah. And it kind of speaks to the same level of cynicism that we've been seeing from the pedophile hunters themselves. Like, obviously I'm a liberal and I would like to see more about these files or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
But it's obviously that they're just doing this now because it's going to make Trump look bad, and it's like a strategic thing to capture some of his voters.
Yeah.
They've, I don't think, ever cared about this until they realized it was like
it could be used.
Yeah, this is a new issue that appeared, given this guy died years ago.
So these people are getting policed online, right? Like we see that YouTube and Facebook are saying, all right, maybe we're not going to allow you to host videos where you're punching someone in the face. But spoiler alert, it is also illegal to just punch someone in the face in real life too, even if they're an alleged pedophile. So I was curious, like, what are prosecutors and police doing about the fact that a lot of these guys are hitting people?
So, like, imagine you're a sheriff in a small town in Ohio, right?
Yep.
Or Indiana if you have to get reelected, or if you're a judge or whatever. And do you want to be the guy who was soft on pedophiles, right? Are you going to go and prosecute a violent pedophile catcher? The violent catchers can sometimes get in trouble, but it's not nearly to the degree if it was, again, they're assaulting alleged pedophiles, right? If it was like a racist thing, or like they're attacking someone because they're like gay or lesbian, it would be a completely different situation because, again, they're pedophiles, right? I mean, it's kind of obvious, right? So Dads Against Predators, they have two guys, right? Jay and Josh. Both of them have outstanding warrants in multiple states, right? And they've said this on stream. They say like there are certain states we can't go to anymore because of this. So often people do get charged and they do have warrants put out them, but they're like, you're not sending bounty hunters to go grab them, to bring them to justice, right? And there are sometimes that people have been prosecuted, but like it's usually the most violent of the violent catches, like literal murder. Like there's a guy in Texas who like shot and killed a guy during one of those. He's being tried for murder.
Tonight, a 24-year-old man is charged in the murder of a 37-year-old convicted sex offender. Some wonder if he was acting as a vigilante.
Now, according to court documents, James Lewis Spencer III made statements such as, if the cops were not going to do anything about pedophiles, maybe he should kill them himself.
Yeah, like no politician or sheriff or whoever wants to be the one who's like, well, I'm going to stop these illegal vigilantes and then be branded as like the pro-pedophile guy. It's just like the TSA stuff from a few weeks ago we were talking about, where it's like, no politician wants to be like, we're going to end TSA, and then 9/11 happens again, or whatever, even though the TSA is not actually helping.
Right.
It's the same, very
not
similar
as
sort of
connected as they
thing.
look on paper, on the surface.
And the last question I had for Aric was the thing we've kind of been talking around this entire episode, which is any of this actually helping?
Criminologists, people look at this academically, they kind of told me across the board, this is not helpful, this is harmful. It actually these kind of videos can do a net negative for the world, and that it like teaches predators / wannabe predators like how to avoid this stuff, like because a lot of times police use very, very similar techniques as the predator catchers, right? And so like if they learn
they're showing you on camera how to do
exactly. They show you the tools of the trade, basically, right? And so if people learn how to avoid this and like go underground or hone their craft or whatever disgusting thing you want to say, right? Like that could like help or theoretically increase the amount of harm in the world, right, by this. But I talked to other police, and they would tell me, like, we love what these guys are doing. Like, what they're doing is good. It reduces the number of creeps in the world, but they can't go about the way they're doing it, right? They can't beat people up. They have to let us know ahead of time. Like, they have to know that the evidence that they're collecting usually probably can't be used in court. This may not be the thing that puts these people behind bars, right?
What's mind-blowing about this is that I've seen some of those game show formatted like To Catch a Predator things, and I always assumed that they were paying someone to play the pedophile in some of those videos because of how outlandish they are. But to learn that like it's real, so to speak, is it's just insane to me.
Yeah, so Aric looked into a lot of these.
As often as I can, I try to figure out who the people are, like the alleged predators are, because we want to reach out to as many people as we can and talk to these people, right? And as you can imagine, no one responded. So of all the dozens of people, I had 2 who reach back out to me. Because sometimes when they do the catch, they show the text messages or the incriminating messages and sending nasty stuff, and they'll show the phone number on there, so I could figure who they are from that.
Yeah.
And usually I search them and they have outstanding court cases against them, or I search them and they're on the registry, right? Wow. Or I see their face and they were arrested 5 years ago for this or that charge, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, not always, but it does happen. So these are not they don't hire a guy for $50 on Craigslist to pretend to be a pedophile. I mean, maybe that happens once in a while. I'm not saying 100%.
Yeah, it's not skits.
Yeah, they're not. Maybe a few of them are fake. I mean, I don't know, because Vitaly and his streaming stuff, it's a whole other world. But the vast majority of the ones I have looked up are these are not Craigslist actors. They're legit people.
So after talking to Aric, it felt like we had a pretty good understanding of the pedophile hunting landscape. But a lot of these conversations still felt like they were not centering survivors. So after the break, I will be talking to someone who has quite a different approach to protecting children from predators online. Okay, we're back.
I'm Manny.
I'm Noah.
And this is Devin. So I wanted to talk with someone who has actually really been doing the work in this field.
I'm Stefan Turkheimer. I'm the Vice President of Public Policy for RAINN. You may know RAINN, but RAINN is the largest anti-sexual violence organization in the United States. We run the National Sexual Assault Hotline. We provide feedback and consulting to various media projects, movies, television shows, that sort of thing. And I lead the Public Policy Department, which tries to change laws to make them more survivor-centered and to help find offender accountability, but basically opening up more pathways to justice for survivors.
So I'm just curious, what have the conversations been at RAINN and survivors around pedophile hunting? And is there just a general sentiment around this sort of vigilante justice?
That's a great question. I mean, the reality is at RAINN, I don't think we've ever discussed the concept of pedophile hunting. And I think the reason why is because survivors are nowhere in the conversation.
Yeah.
As in, they're not really a part of this at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's to the degree they're part of it, it's just as an excuse for making the violence into a righteous endeavor as opposed to violence in and of itself. But I think that, sexual assault, sexual abuse are violent acts in and of themselves, and just deepening, repeating the violence or repeating more violence as an answer to it doesn't really get to the underlying issue and doesn't really act as a deterrent in my mind. But we don't discuss it because it's not really survivor related.
It's not survivor-centered.
It's not survivor-centered, yeah.
Yeah. So what would you say, right? So one of the big groups that does this is Dads Against Predators. And one of the main members of the group says he was a survivor himself.
Yeah.
So for him, this is really personal, and this is a way for him to take potential predators off of the street because they're doing the work that the police are not doing. And some would argue that the police don't have resources to do it, and some would argue that's just not high priority for police. So what would RAINN's response be to that as, someone who is a survivor doing this?
Yeah. I mean, look, every survivor's journey is different, right? And I've talked to a lot of survivors who do wish ill upon those that hurt them.
Yeah.
And so it's not entirely foreign concept to think about that way. And I do recognize there's a lot of survivors also who feel that the criminal justice system or the police let them down in the moment.
Yeah.
And they no longer trust them to protect them and to protect others. And so they end up in this particular place. I would argue that that's actually not helping the system at all. That's not actually helping other survivors. I understand how that person can end up in this position where he wants to exact justice in his name. But I don't think it's actually practical for fixing a problem. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's if the criminal justice system, which is the primary means of trying to deal with the situation, is not working, then our goal should be to fix the criminal justice system so that it does work, so that survivors are respected in the system, so that justice can occur, and that this type of predation can stop. I mean, that's the end goal, right? A lot of survivors don't feel that they've been protected by the criminal justice system, right? And I would argue that the job here is to improve the criminal justice system so the survivors can find justice in it. But there's really two parts of it, right? Because one of it is the criminal justice system isn't delivering on its promises to some degree, right? Whether that's because police aren't trauma informed or because juries aren't willing to listen to kids, whatever the situation is, right? And I think they're getting better about that, and I think we have to have faith in the system to improve it. But the other part of that, of course, is like, what are the platforms doing? And the answer in most cases is not a lot, right? So it's like, I mean, I can't think of how many times we asked Meta to stop allowing adults to message kids they didn't have any connections with on Instagram. I mean, that seems common sense, right? That you shouldn't allow that. And it took them, I think, 8 years, 10 years to do it.
Yeah.
And it's because they have this real theory that they want to be sort of agnostic about how people are using it, and that any communication, any connection that they can create is actually good, right?
Yeah.
There are certainly guidelines and guardrails that need to be present to protect people from this intrusion into their lives. And kids aren't good at protecting themselves. You know, they don't have good impulse control. They don't have a good sense of what boundaries are. So it's like you've got platforms in the criminal justice system who are not doing an amazing job here in some cases. And so you can see how someone can end up in this place. Again, I don't think that this is what anyone should be doing.
Yeah.
But I do understand how a survivor can feel let down by the systems that were supposed to protect them.
I can't get past the fact that like these pedophile hunter streamers are not really addressing kind of the larger problem here.
Yeah.
It feels like, you know, this like misguided vigilante layer to this has been addressed before. Like, this sounds random, but like in like comic books, like, you know, how useful is Batman actually?
Yeah.
He's just it's going
one
around
by one,
beating up jaywalkers, and it's like, you know, this is clear to me. It speaks to them clearly being in this for the entertainment value, for potential to make money off of it. Otherwise, they would actually be kind of, I don't know, trying to get something done more behind the scenes or at precincts, or trying to figure out, you know, what are the flaws of the justice system in their areas? Because I'm sure it depends on where you are in the country.
Yeah.
So yeah, you feel like, you know, this is all very cynical, even on the part of the people who think they're doing something good.
Yeah, and I'll give, you know, like he says, I'll give some grace to people who have been a victim of this stuff, and this is their way of like feeling like they're exacting some revenge. But like he said, it's like, it's still not productive. Right? Like, we've all been in situations where our anger is justified, but like how we channel that anger really is where the focus should be. And I feel like with so much of this stuff, to your point, it doesn't feel solution oriented. It feels like pure animalistic. This thing is happening. Let's go beat these people up, and we can make money doing it even better. Right? Like, it's not trying to solve the issue of why are people who are posing as 14-year-olds allowed to talk to adults online? Like, how is this happening? With such ease, you know, it's like, if they're able to catch all these people by doing it, imagine the amount of real 14-year-olds who are actually talking to adults online.
Yeah, I also think it probably all feeds into this idea that you see online more and more, I feel like, of, you know, these kind of rings of pedophiles, and they're kind of these random predators out there, versus like, I think the reality is this stuff is more happening within like networks of people who actually know each other.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of the scarier thing.
Yep.
And this obviously kind of has nothing to do with that.
And to Noah's point, right, this is a RAINN stat. The majority of children and teen victims know their perpetrator, right? So they say 93% of juvenile victims knew the perpetrator, either an acquaintance or a family member.
Wow.
So the you know, the majority of people who are victims of sexual violence are not, you know, talking to strangers online, even if that's a lot of what we're seeing in the streaming world. So what does justice look like in a perfect world?
I think that's a great question. And I think it's not really entirely for me to decide. I think a survivor should decide on some level what justice looks like within the bounds of what's good for them and good for society, like actually good. And so for a lot of people, that's wanting to see that person punished through the criminal justice system.
Yeah.
A lot of times when we talk to survivors, it actually isn't about punishment for the thing that they experienced. They really want the opportunity to be heard in a court, and ideally for others not to be affected by the same person. So that kind of redress isn't as important as protecting others for a lot of survivors. And for other survivors, it's like the damage has been done to me, and I want to get back to where I was. I want to be made whole in some ways. And sometimes that's like a civil suit against like a school or against an employing entity. So I think it really depends on what the survivor wants in that moment and how they can feel that justice best affects their recovery. And so their sort of journey is kind of what's most important in that place, and like how that will be affected. But I do think like for that to be effectuated, those systems have to actually work. So it's like, can you achieve justice within the systems that you already have? And the answer to that, I think, is you got to try.
If you or someone you know has experienced sexual assault, you are not alone. RAINN offers a national sexual assault hotline with free, confidential, 24/7 support. That number is 800-656-HOPE. We're also going to put some links for additional RAINN resources in our show notes.
No such thing.
Please, I'm gonna start with this. Rate us 5 stars, especially if you are on Apple or Spotify. It really makes a difference. And write a nice little review. No Such Thing is a production of Kaleidoscope Content. Our executive producers are Kate Osborne and Mangesh Hadakar. The show was created by Manny Fidel, Noah Friedman, and me, Devin Joseph. The theme and credit song is by Manny. Mixing for this episode by Steve Bone. Additional music for this episode by Zeno Pitarelli, who just put out an incredible project under his moniker Certain Self. I'm going to link to that in our show notes. Our guest this week was Aric Toler from the New York Times. Please check out their visual investigation. And Stefan Turkheimer from RAINN. They were really helpful in making sure that we were reporting on this in the right way. Visit No Such Thing Not Show to subscribe to our newsletter where we put some bonus content. Also follow us on Instagram, No Such Thing Not Show as well. If you have feedback or questions, email us at mannynoahdevin@gmail.com. We also have a number that you can call and leave us a voicemail. That's in our show notes. If you've made it this far, thank you for listening. We will see you all next week.
No such thing.